Welcome back to REB Auto. Today we're going to go over my time slip and the data log from my personal best pass. One of my goals for 2025 was to run a 10-second pass in my 1987 Ford Mustang. For those of you who don't know, quick recap on the car. It's a stock engine, has a T5 transmission and 410 gears. It's got some of the basic suspension that was done back in the early 2000s. It has a tubular K member, but it has factory A arms, has coilover conversion kit. Rear suspension consists of Lakewood lift arms and solid uppers. The rear end has a spool in it and 33 spline axles, C-clip eliminators. I was running a 28 by 9 ET drag that particular day. It's my tire of choice here lately. On December 28th, 2025, we went down to Coastal Plains Dragway in Jacksonville, North Carolina. It was a nice day, nice Sunday afternoon. The elevation at Coastal Plains is 59 feet above sea level. The weather that day was 58 degrees, had 70% humidity, and the DA that afternoon was 212 feet, according to the Density Online website. So here's the time slip. 1:36, 60-foot time definitely helps get this thing moving. That's a whole lot of first gear. That T5 with a 335 first gear and 14 ratio. As you'll see here in a minute, I got two steps set at 5,000, and that's key to getting this car down the track. The 8th mile time, 6:99. I think that's the first time I'm in the sixes for this car at 96.48 miles an hour. And then quarter mile time, my first 10-second time, 10:87 at 122. So we'll go through the data log real quick and just kind of show you things. So here, put it on the two-step at 1.6 seconds before I zeroed this data log with the clutch release. So 1.6 seconds before the clutch release, I put the gas on the floor, and you can see here took it to 0.8, so 0.8 seconds or so to get to the two-step, and then I think it banged on the two-step 2 or 3 times. I'll turn the rev limiter on real quick. So yeah, the yellow spikes are the rev limiter. So it banged on the rev limiter basically twice, then basically right as I let it off, it hit one more time on the rev limiter. So so anyway, get back on here. Get back to time 0. All right, so when I dumped the clutch, it had 12.2 pounds of boost, and I have a rising boost curve, but of course at that RPM, I was asking for 17 pounds of boost. It's pulled pretty good, I think, for what it is, but for 1.6 seconds on the two-step, I think that was pretty good to get to 12 pounds of boost with so the turbo is a eBay 7875. It was a $300 turbo on a stock 5.0. Everything from the throttle body to the oil pan. It does have 60-pound deck injectors. So anyway, you can see here it left at, get up here. All right, left at 49.95 RPMs, and it pulled it down to about a little over 4,000.15 seconds, and pulling it down a little bit, lost a little boost down to 11.5. The boost comes up spiked at 19.6. Kind of hung on the clutch there for a second, and then you can see that's where I pushed in the clutch. So I pushed in the clutch at 5,700 RPMs, made the gear change. It drug the motor back down to all the way down to 3,100 RPM. So it kind of grabbed it. The clutch grabbed it for sure on that one. We can see here I was going 60 miles an hour at that point, according to the front wheel speed. Let me turn that on because I can't. No, I don't believe that number. The front part is erroneous. I believe it once it gets down here and catches back up. So right there, it's 46. So that's not right. Anyway, second gear, I basically pushed in the clutch at 5,700 RPMs again, made the gear change. Oh, we'll see what we peaked up. We peaked up kind of in second gear. We hit 17.7 pounds of boost, which is pretty close. It follows the boost target pretty good in second. Third gear, it drug it down to 3,500 RPMs, a little lower than I would like, but it kind of drags down, bounces, and recovers. So 4,000 RPMs, it starts chugging along. Overshot a little bit there, 17.7 again. I clutched it at 5,600 to go to fourth. Drug it down to 4,000 that time. It oscillates a little bit in a boost in fourth gear, but it finally 17.8. It peaked at 18.7 there. So it kind of runs out the back at 17 and a half, in that range. Made the quarter mile, 10.87 seconds. And I guess one of the things I kind of noticed looking at this graph, it looks to me like the and I held into it a little bit further after the stripe, but doesn't look like the RPM's really gaining much at that point. So I bought some valve springs to hopefully remedy that. But anyway, just kind of wanted to show you that a stock 5.0 Mustang with a T5 transmission, full weight. The only weight savings on the car is a tubular K member, and the addition of the turbo, the roll bar, subframe connectors, I'm sure outweigh any weight savings from that tubular K member. So it's not a heavy car, not a light car. It's got all the sound deadening, all the bumper and crash supports that came in 1987. So anyway, if you got any questions, let me know. If you made it this far, I want to let you know I appreciate you, and consider subscribing. And while I got you, I want to give a shout out to a few other YouTubers and some friends. Neo Mustangs for just being motivational and showing what you can do with stock Mustang parts. Matt Happel at Sloppy Mechanics for just showing how good the Holley really is and sharing all the information he has over the year. And then my friend Josh at the Underground Garage for let me put my car on a dyno and seeing what it'll do. It's definitely helped me with the tuning aspects of this car. If you got any questions, let me know. Thank you very much. Bye.